Hello, Big Brother fans. I've been missing, and I seriously thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to try to make the time, and I'm going to come on here, and I'm going to discuss the couple of episodes that I missed. And then, when I went back over my notes, I thought, a schizophrenic person certainly wrote these notes. Not me. Yeah, it was me. But anyway, there was nothing really on here that really is worth mentioning. So we'll just talk about tonight's episode. The episode in which Kristen and Kathy absolutely didn't even exist. Never saw them once. At least I didn't. But then, you know what, I have to admit that I was working on tomorrow night's dinner tonight. So I missed the first opening minutes. But anyway. Matt's wife having melorheatosis. And I work in the medical field, and I have to admit, I'd never heard of it, so I came and I Googled it. Told you, I Google everything. And apparently it does exist, even though Andrew, who is supposedly this doctor, sorry, podiatrist. I mean, yeah, it's a doctor, but just because he hasn't heard of it doesn't make it exist. Come on now. Come on now. So anyway, yeah, I Googled it, and apparently it is a bona fide rare bone disease. But you know what I was saying the entire time he was talking about that crap? I was like, ooh, there's this thing we call here, we call it bocce, which is basically, you know, don't mess with that kind of stuff, because you're going to be wishing it onto that person, you know? It's like, stay away, you're jinxing yourself. But, yeah, and here's hoping really that his wife never comes down with something like that, because I don't know that he'd be able to live with himself. And the entire time he's talking about it, he's like laughing and like, you know, and then sometimes you notice he'll stop and he'll be like, yeah, you know, oh sorry, I'm kind of tearing up here or whatever. Oh no, Brittany says, you know, I'm just like, if you're gonna play a role, you're going to have to play that role. Don't be laughing about it and yucking it up and stuff. But whatever. And then him talking to Andrew as if he's a shoe salesman instead of the podiatrist that he is actually quite funny. But, you know, all the times that Andrew has just bragged about himself being a doctor, really, I mean, misspelling entrepreneur. I think that was the word, right? Entrepreneur. Was it? I don't know. I could go back and I could look, but it really doesn't make a difference. But I'm pasteurized. That was it. Okay, let's talk about the Power of Veto game, where they had to hold that briefcase, and it had to be the person closest to 1 hour and not go over. That was pretty brilliant. I mean, because I was thinking the entire time, I was like, oh, I would be so counting it at 1,000, you know, to do that. But then when they threw in the face slapping with the dollar bill to totally throw your game off, how awesome was that? And I have to admit, I kind of laughed at a couple of them being slapped by that dollar. Oh, shucks, that was pretty funny. But I find it interesting. I'm really beginning to like Rachel a lot more. Obviously, I haven't read anything behind the scenes. It's all I've been able to do to keep my head above water this week. But I'm really, really beginning to like Rachel a lot, because she, like I said, she does come off as an airhead, and a lot of that has to do with the way her voice, her voice modulations are. But I think she's a smart cookie, really. The way she takes everything into consideration, and she works it over, and she doesn't do anything impulsive, it seems, you know. It's like, oh, if you could excuse us for 10 minutes, and, you know, I'm sorry, you know, it's nothing against you, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And telling Monet right up, you know, I'm not going to give you an answer, you're going to have to give me time to think this over, and you know, that kind of stuff. And the entire time Monet is just, you know, ragging her behind her back. Oh, you know, they're talking about it, I hope she takes it into consideration, but blah, blah, blah. You know, just talking crap about her. And then during that game, she goes, oh yeah, and Monet says, oh yeah, 60 times 60 is 1200 seconds, so I just have to count out 1200. And then right on her tail, Rachel says 3600, and I'm thinking, who's the stupid ass now? I loved that. It was just some kind of justice that, just happened. But Enzo going over 1400th of a second. How weird was that, right? But yeah, and then Matt putting himself up as a pawn is very, very, very interesting. I started counting votes, and right now, the way it's looking, having not seen anything behind the scenes, not having read anything on Joker's updates, it looks like they have more, enough votes to get Monet out. But if I had sat here, I mean, the game was just over. The TV show just finished like 3 minutes ago, or 6 minutes ago. Sorry. If I had more time to sit and think about it and really consider votes and stuff, Matt definitely has 3 votes to stay. Definitely, from his brigade. But we know that Brittany will definitely vote against Matt because she's going to want to keep Monet, who's the only person that understands her and talks her language, right? And, if she can really flip it and get the 2 people that we haven't even seen tonight, Kathy and Kristen and maybe Reagan, and, Rachel already had her doubts about Matt prior to going into this, and Matt putting himself up as the pawn. So if they can get to her in a couple of days and talk to her and tell her about all this stuff, and Andrew saying, I'm not sure about this disease, and coming out and really revealing that he's a doctor to Rachel and Brendan, it could really be a game, turnaround. So it will be very interesting to see. And like Reagan said, pawns early in the game historically have gone early, so it's going to be really interesting to watch tomorrow night, and I can barely wait. So I've gone way too much over time, but I hope I can come back tomorrow and talk again, because it's really interesting to hear your feedback as well, and it makes me think. So anyway, have a good one, you guys. Bye.